welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around, but those dreams have remained and they've turned around. Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Back here where we need ya. Back here where we need ya. Yeah, the tease him a lot, 'cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back. All right, give it a stretch. So that last work session was an interesting one. Like I mentioned before, I have a couple of 3D printers printing some stuff, and I wanted to get another one up and running. So I I sent the files and everything. I'm like, all right, cool, doing the test. I was like, well, let me go get something to eat because, I'm hungry. It's breakfast time. And so I went to go get something to eat, hung out a little bit. And when I came back to start this, I noticed it wasn't moving. I'm like, that's weird. And I see like stuff around the nozzle. I'm like, what is this? And it looks like as it was printing, maybe something detached or something, and it just kept like blobbing up on there. So I had to spend a little bit of time cleaning up. Like, you really have to like babysit these things. So it's kind of like, okay. But the other ones are printing fine. But it's just that one I wanted to try to get as much as I can done. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. But for this break session, I want to take a look at some news that recently happened. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of interesting. So we'll see where it goes. And I'm going to post a link to the different blog posts that we're going to talk about. And it's funny because I normally check out these blogs to see if anything, any news has happened, and I'll talk about it here. It kind of keeps me up to date, right? And so last week I was like, I went to their site and I was like, oh, I haven't really seen anything from them in a minute, until recently, like a couple of days ago when I was posting on social media, like, oh, okay, well, this would be why then. And so, all right, so I want to talk about, so let's take a look at this, start sharing my screen. So I'm gonna start off here. So one of the places I go to kind of see what's happening with it is Astro. And I'm a big fan of Astro. I've been for a while now. How I got into Astro was that I like Svelte, right? And so any sort of like applications at the time I was building in Svelte. And Svelte had a framework around it, kind of like how like React has like Next, Angular is, Angular. Like it has these like meta frameworks around it. And Svelte was called, it was like a military term. What was it called? But they changed it to a newer version. And there was a time gap in between like the old version I was using and the newer one. So I was like, well, let me see what else is out there. And so I came across Astro, and Astro supports Svelte. So Astro basically did what that framework, it was like Flipper, what was it called? I have to look it up now. Give me a second here. What was it? It was hold on. What was it called? It was like a military. I had to look it up. I'm like, oh, it's an interesting name. I had to look it up, and it was called. I'm still a fan of Svelte also. So anytime I'm need to do anything that will actually need like a bunch of like optimizations and stuff, I'll use Svelte. But recently I've just been using HTML, CSS, and vanilla JavaScript. It was before Svelte Kit. It was called something else. Trapper or Flipper, something. I don't remember. Let me see. Old. And I was a fan of it. Let me see. The evolution. Sapper. It was called Sapper, right? And it would do like the SSR, so the server-side rendering and all that stuff. So it was pretty dope. Big fan of it. And so I built a few projects in Sapper. But then there was a point between Sapper and Svelte Kit. And so I was like, oh, I don't know what to do now because I don't want to keep building in Sapper because Svelte Kit was like brand new. It was like things it wasn't doing or whatever. And so I was like, all right, well, let me see what else is there. And so I was looking up like Svelte stuff or whatever. and I came across Astro. And I was like, oh, this is pretty dope. It does the stuff that Sapper does, but I can put in just like vanilla JavaScript if I want to do React. I did a bunch of other stuff and Svelte. I was like, oh, dope. So a lot of my stuff initially was Astro with Svelte components. And so just kind of just kept building on that. And Astro's been doing a lot of really dope stuff. And at one point, they had like a database situation that they had. And so I was like, oh, okay, so this is how they're going to make money. Because I was like, how are they going to make money? This thing is awesome. But how are we going to make money? I know they had like sponsors and things. And I was like, but how can you make? So I signed up for this database thing. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I want to give you money for this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And they stopped the database thing. I'm like, oh, okay. And then, like I mentioned in the beginning of the year, I was like, what's happening with Astro? I haven't heard from, because that's one thing with Astro. They're on social media a lot. You know what I'm saying? They're blasting their stuff out there. And then it was like a couple of weeks. I'm like, oh, okay. I wonder what's happening. So today's the 18th. So yeah, so literally like on Friday, come to find out that Astro Technology Company joins Cloudflare. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's, I guess, what they've been working on, right? And so here's the blog post. I posted a link to it so you can check it out. And so the Astro Technology Company joins Cloudflare. And if you've been here before, Cloudflare, I'm a fan of Cloudflare as well. Shown them here a couple of times. And they're the place where I basically deploy all my stuff pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a big fan of Cloudflare. It's like Cloudflare, then I'll do like Firebase hosting. I use Firebase for a bunch of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But then it'll be like Cloudflare, Firebase, Netlify. I think I've done some stuff with Railway. You know what I mean? And so we live in amazing times where you have all this choice. You know what I'm saying? So you can kind of like play around with stuff. And what's dope also, Astro had adapters so you could deploy to like Cloudflare, Netlify. And so I have mad projects all over the place. And so it's kind of cool. They even do like, I think, Dino as well. So I think I created a project and deployed it to Dino. So yeah, so Astro basically checked like all my boxes. It like supported the library Svelte that I like to use every once in a while. It did vanilla JavaScript. It shipped like, it did SSR server-side rendering like out the box. So it was pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as I don't have to set up like a server and routes, I'm cool. And so they basically check my box because, like I said, they have like the file-based routing, I think they call it. And so I don't have to worry about setting up routes on a server. Like I just set up my files and it does it for me. And so yeah, it's pretty dope. So I'm kind of excited. So at least now I know that they'll have like backing now. You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of like my whole thing. But now I feel good about it, especially with Cloudflare. I'm a fan of Cloudflare already. So yeah, I think this is pretty dope. I think we'll see. So the Astro Technology Company, the company behind Astro Web Framework, is joining Cloudflare. Adoption of the Astro Web Framework continues to double every year, and Astro 6, the new version, is right around the corner. With Cloudflare support, we have more resources and fewer distractions to continue our mission to build the best framework for content-driven websites. And so what I'm thinking Cloudflare is going to get, because like I mentioned, recently, the Astro projects I've been creating, I just been deploying to Cloudflare. And they make it pretty painless because there's the adapter for it, right? There was some issues with the adapter before, but I moved it to another place where I was doing the coding. I think it might have been the IDE. There was some issues with versions or something. I don't know. So I moved to another cloud IDE, and it's been fine so far. And so I'm thinking now what Cloudflare would get out of this, because like they said, Astro has been doubling in usage, basically, you know what I'm saying, the adoption every year. And so I think Cloudflare is like, oh, well, if a bunch of people are using this, and maybe they saw that a lot of people were using Astro and deploying to Cloudflare, maybe like, hey, we can like strengthen this, you know what I'm saying? Let them work on the framework and make it great, but let's make the experience deploying to Cloudflare easier and more straightforward, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking that's maybe what they're thinking. And so if that's in mind, I feel pretty good about it. So I'm hoping that they don't like take over Astro to where it's just like, no, it must be Cloudflare now, kind of like other folks have been doing. So I'm hoping that they'll still kind of keep it open and be able to, like they said, you know, allow them to, you know, they have more resources and fewer distractions. So that's pretty dope. So we'll see. So what it means for Astro. Astro stays open source and MIT licensed. That's dope. So if you want to, you can like fork it yourself and do what you got to do. Astro continues to be actively maintained. Yeah, their repo is like active. They've got a whole bunch of stuff on GitHub. I can see that. Astro continues to support a wide set of deployment targets, not just Cloudflare. So it looks like they're going to keep that going. So that's dope. Astro's open governance and current roadmap remain in place. So they're still headed on the path. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope. So now all full-time employees of the Astro technology company are now employees of Cloudflare and will continue to work on Astro full-time. And so I'm not even sure how large their team size is. You know what I'm saying? Who's actually like full-time employees. But it's pretty dope that, you know, they have like jobs and getting wages. I wasn't sure how it was before. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty dope. They talk about how Astro started in 2021. Damn, like only like 5 years ago. Astro was born out of frustration. The trend at the time was that every website should be architected as an application and then shipped to users' browsers to render. This was not very performant, and we spent the last decade coming up with more and more complex solutions to solve that performance problem. SSR, ISR, RSC, PPR, TTI optimizations via code splitting, tree shaking, lazy loading, all to generate a blocking double data hydration payload from a pre-warmed server running halfway around the world. Yeah, it was a lot of stuff happening. You know what I'm saying? And so then our mission to design a web framework is specifically for building websites, what we call content-driven websites, to better distinguish from data-driven, stateful web applications resonated. Now Astro is downloaded almost 1 million times per week and has been used by hundreds of thousands of developers to build fast, beautiful websites. They even had my website on their thing at one point, like early on. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Today, you'll find Astro all over the web, powering major websites and even entire development platforms for companies like Webflow, Wix, Microsoft, and Google. All right, dope. So along the way, we tried to grow a business. So that's why I was like, hey, how can I give you money? So in 2021, we raised some money and formed the Astro Technology Company. Our larger vision was a well-designed framework like Astro could sit at the center of a massive developer platform with optional hosted primitives like database, storage, analytics. Again, exactly. That's what I was like, the database thing, I thought pretty dope. Designed in lockstep with the framework. We were never able to realize this vision. See the Astro DB. Attempts to introduce paid hosted primitives into our ecosystem fell flat and really justified their own existence. We considered going more directly after first-class hosting or content management for Astro, but knew we'd spend much of our time playing catch-up to well-funded, savvy competitors. We kept exploring different ideas, but nothing clicked with users the same way Astro did. It wasn't all bad, and this was talking about Astro DB. Big fan of that. That was pretty dope. So our attempt to build a hosted database product for Astro projects eventually evolved into open, built-in Astro database client that lives in core today. So you can like link it to different actual database spots. Our exploration into building an e-commerce layer, which I didn't know about that, with Astro was eventually open source. Really? I didn't even know they had a interest. Okay, interesting. I'm going to take a look at that. I didn't know about that. It was rewarding work, but over the years, the distraction took its toll. Each attempt at a new paid product or offering took myself and others on the project away from working on the Astro framework that developers were using and loving every day. So, I mean, I can kind of understand that. So returning to focus. Last year, Dane, Cloudflare CTO, and I began to talk more seriously about the future of the web. Those conversations quickly grew into something bigger. What does the next decade look like? Interesting. How do frameworks adapt to a world of AI coding and agents? True. It became clear that even as web technologies evolve, content remains at the center. We realized that we've each been working toward the same vision from different angles. So Cloudflare has been solving it from the infrastructure side, betting on a platform that is global by default with fast startup, low latency, and security built in. Yep. Astro has been solving it from the framework side, betting on a web framework that makes it easy to build sites that are fast by default without overcomplicating things. And that's what I love about it. The overlap is obvious. By working together, Cloudflare gives us the backing we need to keep innovating for our users. Now we can stop spending cycles worrying about building a business on top of Astro. So yeah, that's what the thing I was kind of worried about. And start focusing 100% on the code with a shared vision to move the web forward. So that's pretty dope. So yeah, you can read more about it here. And yeah, so that's pretty dope that Astro is now part of Cloudflare. So we'll see what happens with that. And so here's a blog post also from Cloudflare and kind of saying the same thing. So I posted a link to this as well. So it'll be next to the recording of the video on untilit.works. And yeah, so that's pretty dope. And you can check it. So you can see like the growth, the weekly downloads. That's wild. And yeah. So, and you kind of talk more about what Astro is and everything. So it's not like the same exact post, so you can learn more things. So you can go ahead and check that out. Like there's live content collections. It's like it's been pretty dope. And yeah, so there's all that. So again, shouts to Astro, shouts to Cloudflare. Kind of excited to see what comes of this. And because they both seem like they really care about the web and the health of the web and really trying to make it a better place for everyone. So shouts to them. What did you think? If you heard the news, or if this is the first time hearing the news, let me know what you think about it. And yeah, let me get y'all back to work so I can get back to work because it looked like it's printing fine now, but I need to double check it. So thanks for hanging out. I'm gonna send y'all off with some traveling music. This right here is an artist, formerly known as A Butta, now goes by Anthony Cruz. The track is called Thank You. Thanks for hanging out. See you like 15 minutes after the hour. We'll take a look at an artist's website, listen to music, watch some videos. Maybe you'll become a fan. But till then, this is Anthony Cruz, aka A Butta. Thank you. All right, thanks, y'all. Y'all be easy. And peace.
I want to say thank you for holding on. When a brother was down and out, now I feel so strong. And I want to say thank you for being there. When a brother had nowhere to turn to, you were there. And I feel like, yeah. And everybody says, yeah. We spread love like, yeah. I want to say thank you for holding on. When a brother was down and out, now I feel so strong. And I want to say thank you for being there. When a brother had nowhere to turn to, you were there. And I feel like, yeah. And everybody says, yeah. We spread love like